Everyone, let's start with the next chapter, oceans, the easiest chapter in your syllabus. The Earth is called a watery planet, we all know, and the reason also is that 71% of the Earth is covered with water, therefore, we call it as a watery planet. And the realm or the region which is covered by water is called as hydrosphere. That also we know that the Earth is made up of three realms: atmosphere, lithosphere, and hydrosphere. We studied about structure of the Earth and the rocks. That part we did as lithosphere. Now we start with hydrosphere, that is the water which makes up the Earth. We also know that around 225 million years back, the Earth was joined together as one piece of land or one large mass of land, and that one large mass of land was called as Pangaea, which was surrounded by a vast ocean, which is called as the Panthalassa. And slowly and steadily, it started drifting away from each other. So, North and South America went towards the west, Europe and Asia started moving towards the east. Australia went towards the southeast, so they all started drifting away from each other, and then they took shape of the world as we see today. So, Pangaea and Panther, Lhasa, and since that water which was surrounding the entire landmass started getting in between these continents, and they became different oceans, they gave rise to different oceans. Now, when we look at the world map, we find that the distribution of land and water is in a very different kind of a manner, meaning there is more amount of land in the northern hemisphere and more amount of water in the southern hemisphere. So this distribution of land and water on the surface of the earth is called as antipodal balance. So land towards north and water towards the south. So this balance on the surface of the earth is called as the antipodal balance. And when we study about the oceans, the study of the oceans is called as the oceanography. Now, why are we studying about the oceans? What is so important about the oceans? We all know that because of the presence of seas and oceans, the amount of water vapor gets added into the atmosphere because of evaporation, and that carries on with the water cycle, which is a very, very important aspect of life, of survival. Oceans are also known to regulate the temperature, and they're capable of storing heat, and then they distribute it all over the world. Then, when the waters of the ocean move, we call them as ocean currents, and they are responsible for causing rainfall, especially warm ocean currents. Then, oceans are also used for navigation. That means we have passages in the ocean which and people can move from one place to another. So they're used for transport. Petroleum, natural gas is found on sea and ocean floor, so we explore it and exploit it from there and drill it out. We also find salt, gold, diamond, sulfur. It is the largest source of fish and seafood. Plus, we also manufacture electric current from the tidal energy. And beaches are a great tourist spots. We all know that people migrate, they go and visit the beaches all over the world. That's a largest tourist spot. So it also gives recreational value and economic value. People can earn through it. Now we know that there are five oceans in the world: Pacific, Atlantic, Arctic, Indian, and Southern Ocean. We'll study them one by one. First, we're going to study about the Pacific Ocean, which is the deepest and the largest ocean. And it is bound by North and South America on one side, that is on the eastern side, and Asia and Australia in the west, and Antarctica in the south. Now, Pacific, when we say, is the largest and the deepest ocean. Why do we call it as the deepest ocean? Because we have a trench or a depression which is called as the Mariana Trench, and this is as deep as 10,800 meters. And we have another trench in the same ocean which is called as the Philippine Trench, and the depth of the Philippine Trench is approximately 10,380 meters. So that is why we call Pacific Ocean as the deepest ocean. Then the next one is the Atlantic Ocean. This is the second largest ocean. It is generally in the shape of an S, with North and South America to the west and Europe and Asia towards the east. Here we have a ridge. There we had a depression in the Pacific Ocean. Here we have a plateau-like structure which we call it as the ridge, and it is called as the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, and it divides the ocean into two halves. It is also called as the busiest ocean because it has two great economic powers on both ends. Towards the west, it has North America, and towards the east, it has Europe. These are the two economic powers, and therefore a lot of business and trade happens, and therefore this becomes the busiest ocean of the world. Then third is the Indian Ocean, third largest ocean, and this is the only ocean which has been named after a country, that is India. And the tapering shape of India, because India is a peninsula, it divides the Indian Ocean into two branches, Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. Here also we have a plateau-like structure or a ridge-like structure which runs right from Kanyakumari up till Antarctica, and this is called as the Mid-Indian Oceanic Ridge. Fourth ocean, sorry, is the Southern Ocean. When the waters of Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Ocean they meet near Antarctica, we call that water body as the Southern Ocean. Arctic Ocean is the smallest ocean, which is located towards the north of the world, towards North Pole, and it is generally, since it is very very cold that side, it is generally covered by ice all the year round. That is the entire chapter of oceans for you, class 9. So it's a very very easy, simplest and the shortest chapter you can ever talk about. Most of these things you already know, so there's nothing much which you need to learn here, but still you must be aware of all these facts because there could be a question based on this also. So bye bye for now. We finished with one more chapter. I know after this I'm going to give you a lot of time to finish your written work. Bye bye for now.